Welcome back to Pokemon Insurgence. If this is your first time here, I'm Squirrel. This is the second episode of the post game, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to Orion. So realistically, although the post game officially opens up after you beat the Timeless, which we did last episode, practically it doesn't open up until you've defeated Gail and gotten Rock Climb. So that's what we're going to have to do first. So that's why we go straight to Orion here instead of going to Holon or heading off to the Rose Crater. So, after talking to Orion, he tells us we need to go to the Perfection Base, so we do. We take this little shortcut here, although, honestly, it probably would have been faster just to go through the tower. Once we're there, we're going to meet up with some environmentalists who are going to be harassing Rukra because they don't like the way he talks. And they don't like the fact that he's a leader of one of these cults that be killing people. So, they're going to yell at him a whole bunch. I don't know why they feel so comfortable doing this, considering that he's a cult leader, and cult leaders are known to murder people, but they feel comfortable doing it, so they're gonna do it, and he's just gonna, he's one of the more amicable cult leaders. We've never actually seen Rukra kill somebody on screen, so I don't know if he's actually a murderer. He's just gonna walk away. He does like to use his mob mentality to scare people, but I think he's more of a big barker than a big biter. So he's like, yep, I'm out of here. I don't care anymore. Everybody's up in my secret base. It's not even a secret anymore. So, yep, bye. And then this lady, this is Gail. She says, hey, you were just talking to this guy. You must be evil. And he's like, oh, no. You're actually the third augur, which we just became last episode if you weren't tracking. So we're the third augur now. And, environmentalist Gail is going to be like, hey, we're here to save the animals, basically. So they don't like the strong Pokemon that can cause environmental disasters because they can hurt the weaker Pokemon. So we go up against Environmentalist Gail. Her team is actually pretty weak, and that's going to come back to bite us later on, but right now it's a benefit because we get to just Mega Evolve on her. She's starting with a Stunfisk, which is actually extremely weak to what we have. We bounce her live wire back, so she's not going to get any benefit from that. We'll just set up Calm Mind right in his face. I probably could have gotten away with continuing to set up to +4 or +6, but I just felt like I don't want to risk getting paralyzed. So I tried to go for Moonblast, but she turns into a fire type, so that's not going to be as effective as I thought it was. And then here I am looking at what next? Calm Mind again would let me get the kill. Instead we go for Grass Whistle. Putting to sleep helps. You do Giga Drain, a little bit of health off, but it is quad resistant to it. However, since it lost all of its stat buffs, we were able to knock it out now. Swallow comes out. This thing probably has Liquid Ooze, so I have to be careful about it. So instead of trying to Giga Drain it, we're just going to Moonblast it. And I'm really liking Giga Drain Meganium. Giga Drain Meganium is really, really strong in this game. It does so much damage. Fortunately, Zep Striker misses the Overheat because that probably would have one-hit shot KO'd me. And we're able to knock it out. And from here, it's going to be a clean sweep. Obviously, Azumarill goes down. Her last Pokemon out is going to be her legendary Zygarde, but why would we be scared of that? It's just a Zygarde. Honestly, it's got the worst typing possible to go up against Mega Meganium. Dragon and Ground versus Fairy and Grass. Both its stabs are resisted, or actually immune to the Dragon part. So she's going to tell us that in order to catch up with this guy, we need to go to No Man's Land, which means that we need to be able to climb rocks. So guess what we're going to get now? We're going to get Rock Climb. Yes, sir. So, I don't know if you can teach a Pokemon rock climb and then be able to climb rocks before this point, but I'm guessing no. Because I tried it with Waterfall and you still cannot use Waterfall until you actually get the Flying Carpet. And talk to these guys, they're going to tell us why they felt so emboldened to try to stand up to a cult leader. And they picked the right one, I would say, because we know the Sky Cult, we know the Water Cult, the Fire Cult, they were all on business time when it came to killing civilians. So yeah, they picked the right one for perfection. So in order to get up to No Man's Land, we first have to go to Gaea Town, which is where the post game actually first opens up first. So we're gonna have to pass through the last route in Torrent, which is Route 17. You can see me just exploring a little bit as I go along. And finally into Gaea Town. So there's a lot of cool things here. You'll see you can buy any type of plates you want. Everything except for the fairy plate is available here. The fairy plate you had to get back in the Void Gauntlet Pokemon Village. You can be Tutored Dig, which is useful for later once we go into Holon, although we'll also be able to get the TM there. Under the gym here is actually the way the story progresses, but we just came here a little earlier. We get the TM for False Swipe, which is great for catching Pokemon, as well as Hydreigonite. If you have a Hydreigon and you want to have a Mega Hydreigon, you're able to use that. Also, we're going to be able to catch Hydreigon later on in No Man's Land and the ruins of, not ruins of Alpha Temple, which is basically the same thing. So even if you don't have Hydreigon yet, you can get one pretty quickly. So this is the town that our dad, the first Augur, he was in charge of. Of course, now he's locked away in our dream world, so cool. There's a TM Retaliate there. It's not that important of a TM. Oh, also, this is where you can start the item trade quest. That's the red Paperclip. I'm not going to finish the item trade quest right here and now, but just keep that in mind. And also, keep this guy in mind. We are going to divide by 0. And that's going to cause our game to crash. And after we reset our game, which is going to take me a while to realize I need to reset the game. Like, I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? By the way, that is an intentional crash. That's a designed crash. Because once you load back in, they'll give you a result of 0. And that'll open up the next part of that quest. So this is one of the 2 very important things that we gain access to when we get to Gaea Town, and that is the Dream Guru, which lets us get all of our Pokemon's hidden abilities. So right here, right now, I want Michaela's, and that's going to be Shadow, whatever the darkness one is, the one that makes it Shadow Dance, the one that makes her faster in darkness. And speaking of darkness, we're going to catch Lunatone now. And the reason we're catching Lunatone is because it also has a hidden ability. And that hidden ability is Noctem, a very rare hidden ability that allows it to set night as soon as it comes into battle. So we called it relaxed because we want it to be as slow as possible, hopefully slower than any Tyranitar or Politoed it comes up against. And now you see we have Lunatone. I'm going to show you the stats. Has Noctem. Perfect. And that stat spread is ideal to make sure that it survives a few hits, and you're going to see that later on. We're going to teach it Psyshock. Honestly, I do like the idea of keeping Explosion on it. I might keep Explosion on it for some other stuff later on. But right now we're going to give it Earth Power, Shadow Ball, Psyshock, and Stealth Rock. So here we are going to Stealth Rock Tutor for Lunatone. I don't normally use Sneaky Pebbles, but, you know, why not? So I'm going to lead off with it often anyway. Replace Stone Edge with Sneaky Pebbles. And then we go down to Rogan Town, down to the Rogan Ruins. And then that's where we're able to teach it Earth Power. Alright. So now that Lunatone set up for success, we need to go catch Delta Petilil. So after revising my team later on, I realized I probably should have caught this before the Elite Four because it is so good. It is such a good Pokemon, especially on this team. It has Surf, which is boosted by Noctem's Night by 50%. So it's almost like running it in the rain. It has an immunity to water when you give it Storm Drain. It has quadruple resistances to fire and ice. Yeah, it's just a superior Pokemon. And it's pretty quick and it gets Tail Glow. So it's just a ridiculously good Pokemon in so many different ways. We're going to go ahead and catch it with the Delta Ball here. Yep. And you notice we were using a timid Gardevoir here in order to make sure that we caught it as a timid nature. We don't care about its IVs, thankfully, because you'll never need to use Hidden Power on this thing. Its move pool is cracked. The only thing is it kind of has 4 moveset syndrome where it mostly wants to use Dazzling Gleam, but it could really stand to use either Energy Ball or Thunderbolt. You evolve it with Firestone into Delta Lilligant, which is the stronger form. And then we peace out. So here's our team as it stands right now. Lunatone with Noctem. Dark Rock on to make sure we get the maximum number of turns of darkness. Hydreigon is our 4x resistance to poison because we have Meganium, which when it goes Mega, it has a 4x weakness to poison. And also, Delta Hydreigon is actually just really a good Pokemon. Delta Vespiquen, honestly, it's a 4x weakness, 4x resistance to Fairy, but outside of that, it's very, very weak. It's actually kind of disappointing. Delta Lilligant, which is kind of frail, but also if it manages to actually set up once, it's cracked. Like there's nothing stopping that. Fiery Dance too, so that it has a 50% chance of just getting stronger when it uses Stab. All right, so now we're heading over to Selene City. We're going to be heading to the Ancient Tower. So to get there, we're going to go to the Mysterious Hideaway, which is under the lake. We've gone there a few times in order to get Giga Drain, but now we're actually going to go into the tower. You can tell I forgot that I didn't have Max Repel on anymore because I was catching Pokemon. Now we do. So this tower works kind of like the Sky Tower in Pokemon Emerald, if you remember that, where you had to use the bike to get across floors that make you fall through. It's just like that. So you see me fall through a couple times and I'm like, okay, I'm sick of falling through this floor. Where's my bike? All right, cool. And then I go to the end and I fall through. I'm like, that trick. Yeah, I fell through so many times I just edited it out. And we go ahead and we make our way up the tower. I'm not going to bore you guys. I respect your time just a little bit too much to bore you guys with watching 15 minutes of me falling through floors. So you're just going to see my success from here on out. Yeah, that was a nasty trick too. Why'd they put it right there? Another problem is I was playing on TV and the TV is just a little bit slower than the actual phone is, so I was like a split second too late. But this is the note that you actually have to read in order to continue the breeding quest line, and that's what we're doing this for. We're trying to breed. So that's the other big thing that we unlocked when we got to Gaea Town, is the ability to breed deltas. Like we haven't been able to replace our starters since we started the game, right? Because Deltas can't breed, but now they can. So after you go to the top of that tower and read that note, now you can go back to this scientist who told you to come here in Gaea Town and talk to him. And yeah, now you're going to have to talk to him at the daycare, so go ahead and fly there. Meiji Town. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see some rock climb tracks. I did not realize those were there until afterwards. But yeah, you can just straight up climb down. Now, you don't have to go all the way around town to get to the daycare anymore. And he'll allow you to enter the daycare. And you'll see I'm just talking to everybody. Go ahead and pick up every berry you can find while you're here. Reason is because you'll only be able to come to this area once. Like after this, the gate gets locked and you can't come here anymore. So he's going to ask you what species he's studying. And I wouldn't have guessed this on my own, but it is Ditto. So, Delta Ditto, I still haven't come to a conclusion on what the best possible IV spread for him is. I know I want to have him modest because all three of your starter Deltas are going to be best off as modest. But when it comes to IV spread, I have a 30 IV spread. A 30 speed IV spread. I don't know if that's absolutely necessary. Maybe not. The reason I went 30 speed is because speed is usually the most important stat. But the deal is, Delta Squirtle doesn't need 30 speed. It just needs some speed. And you can fix the speed if its speed is off with EVs. So yeah, it's questionable. Also, no, you just max out its speed anyway. Yeah, you just max out its speed anyway. And the other problem is Delta Charizard is the same way, I think. You just max out its speed because it's going to use Hidden Power Ground. Or Poison, one of the two. No, Poison is Squirtle, Ground is Charizard, and I think Fighting is for Venusaur. But I don't think speed actually ends up being important, so I really should have gone for 30 special attack IVs, I think. But I'm not sure. I'll figure that out and I'll put it in the comments. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please like, comment. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because I don't know if you will continue to enjoy the type of videos I put out, but if you like them and you're continuing to... If you've watched more like 3 or 4 and you like them all, consider subscribing because it helps us out. Shadow Dance. So Dread Play. This is my new perfected breeded Squirtle. You see it has all this cool stuff on it. And then right after getting it, remember when we went to the guy, the human calculator, and we divided by 0? Okay, so now we're in Vipik Town. Important. And I learned this later that I could have just went straight down, but I go a little bit to the right and then down. And then you see here, this all glitchy area. This glitches on purpose. This is actually a glitched out version of Gaea Town. And we're going to go in it. And this only appears after you divide by 0 and crash the game. This area is called No Data. And we're going to swap out. We did bring a Adamant synchronized Gardevoir with us, which means we're catching a Pokemon. And this one's going to be a classic. It's going to be MISSINGNO. So it's going to pop out. And MISSINGNO actually has the same stat line that it does in red, blue, and yellow, which means that it's going to have almost no existent defenses and very, very low speed. But it has like a ridiculously high attack, with that Sky Attack being able to one-shot my Gardevoir here, even though it was only level 36. So yeah. We're going to put it to sleep, and we're going to try to catch it with Premier Ball. You're going to see me just throw more and more at it. I don't remember MISSINGNO being that hard to catch in the original Red, Blue, Yellow. Like, I think they might have jacked its catch rate up a little bit. But yeah, you can see that Sky Attack hit like a truck. but I'm weak to it. So I'm trying my best not to accidentally get hit by it. You see there, I get spared by it missing, and actually it misses twice. So fortunately for me. All right, and you see here, I'm kind of like, let's try Ancient Ball. And lo and behold, MISSINGNO counts as legendary, so Ancient Ball works here. So MISSINGNO does not have the ability to duplicate your items when you catch it, unfortunately. So, sucks. And then immediately you get teleported to real Gaea Town. Here you see Adamant Nature, MISSINGNO. You can max out its IVs if you want to. Its glitch ability makes it so that any contacting attacks straight up destroy the Pokemon that, well, not destroy, but faint the Pokemon that hit it. So that's really useful if you get a Focus Sash. Here we're just gonna watch Delta Squirtle level up to like 50. Feels good. I love this. Speaking of, let me look up the let me look up what hidden power I needed. For Ditto. Oh, hidden power fighting for Charizard. Oh, okay. Yeah, and since Charizard is actually a pretty good partner for Delta Blastoise, I could definitely see a reason to have that 30 speed on Ditto. So yeah, maybe 30 speed Ditto wasn't a bad idea, but it does make it a lot harder to also get 30 special attack, because your likelihood of getting 30 in special attack and speed on a Ditto is what's 31 times 31. One in that, basically. So not very high. The best you could probably do is what I did do, which is a Ditto with the speed stat, correct? And honestly, I should have still went with special attack, in my opinion. I should have still gone with special attack on the Ditto. Because yeah, Squirrel doesn't need speed, it needs special attack. So yeah, I'm gonna lock that in. I'm gonna say special attack on Ditto. 30 special attack, and then make sure you get one of the other stats that is relevant for hidden power fighting. Which those stats are defense, special defense, and special attack. So defense, special attack, special defense, and speed need to be at 30, 26, 22, 18, 14, 10, 6, or 2 in order for you to have hidden power fighting at max power. Oh, by the way, this is the comparison between my original Delta Blastoise, Michaela, which is a very rare female, and the new one. Obviously, the new one is far superior in just about every stat except for special defense. So now we're going back to Sun Touch. We're going to do some backtracking here in order to get some things that we left behind when we picked up Rock Climb. So down here, you don't need Rock Climb for this, you just need Dive, but you can get Feraligatr, right? For a Mega Feraligatr. Could have got this back when you beat the 5th gym, or actually as soon as you learned how to dive, so before that. And then up here in the entrance level of Cyan Cavern is where TM4 Iron Tail is. So yeah, all of the steel type TMs are kind of locked, especially the physical moves are kind of locked in post game, unfortunately. Now we're going to go to Utility Town in order to access the Cave of Steam. See me get a little bit lost here, but it's right here, honestly. That's where you rock climb up in order to get TM50, which is Overheat. The last backtrack we're going to do, we're going to go to Amphitrite, which we need to go to Crystal Caves. Second last time we should come here. And right here, after passing this puzzle, you're going to see this rock climb. Go ahead and go down it. It's made of jewels. And you'll get the TM for Steel Wing here. We're going to escape rope out. Alright. So now we're actually going to move the story forward for Taen's questline. Remember, this is where we got Hydreigonite earlier. This is under the Gaea Town gym, so our dad's gym. And we're going to go ahead and use Hyperspace Hole. That'll open up the path to No Man's Land, which is the last actual area. It's not a route, but it's basically a route, but it's harder than a route. And here we're going to find 12 snowballs. So you see me get the first 2 already, and now we're just going to lock in and we're going to find all the items here. Number 3 there. And obviously this is my first time here, so I'm going to be a little bit inefficient, as I'm just looking around trying to find exactly where these snowballs are. It's so nice to not be limited by rock climb anymore. Now, this area is actually an area you kind of want to avoid. You don't have any reason to come here. It's kind of like a time trap. But I didn't know that when I first came here. So, yeah. So you can use that heart swap in order to get into this cave. And then this time, I'm kind of a dummy because I just like ignore the area. But then I realized, oh, I'm actually factually trapped here. By the way, you're not really that trapped. You can fly out. But yeah, I feel extremely trapped here. So the only way to progress is to go up and around. And then you see me like trying to figure this out. Like, where do I go? And they're like, oh, this is a very annoying puzzle. So at this point, I didn't realize that you could break some of these rocks up here. And then, oh, I can break rocks. Okay. Good thing I have a fighting type Pokemon, or I'd be actually stuck and have to fly out. Which I think it probably is possible to soft lock yourself here. Like, it probably is possible. If you don't pick up the Pika Pad after beating the Elite Four, it's probably extremely possible to soft lock yourself here. Like, you just don't bring a fighting type Pokemon, and then yeah, you're stuck. Or, excuse me, a Pokemon with a fighting type move. I get very lucky there with the Ivy Stone. It's the only reason why I leave this footage in at all. And yeah, we're just trying to find our way out of this. And it's not like a super difficult puzzle. It's just a long puzzle. Like a lot of... And getting into fights every now and again is very, very annoying. Nice heart scale. And now that's how we get the snowball. That was actually in that area. So you do need to go into that area. But I'll have to go back in that area because I go into the cave later. So I'm like, well, I should have went to the cave. And then we got another snowball over here. And here's the TM for Psych Up. Very good move if you're going to be playing Arceus at all. Luscious Orb up there for your Palkia once you get it. And that'll be our final Snowball. Yep, we have 23 now. So that's the 11 from Victory Road Frost and the 12 from here. So at this point, I could go back to Gaea Town and trade them in, but we can do that later. Now there are a couple items I still missed here, so we're going to go back. If I can manage not to get stuck in, and then I do go through this puzzle one more time. So enjoy. You get into an ice puzzle, grab the PP Max, and then figure your way up out of it. Fortunately, this one doesn't freeze our game, but just like before, we are stuck in this puzzle. I think it actually would have been faster if I just flew to Gaea Town and just came back through the hyperspace hole. It probably would have legitimately been faster. Like, even knowing the solution to the puzzle, it's not that much It's not that much faster, especially when you get into a battle every other time you use Rock Smash. All right, there we go, and run away from that because that's annoying. But I do want to get that rare candy over there, so we're going to try to figure this out. You see me doing the math in my head, and we're able to get there. However, I have a problem because I'm thinking about later on, how do I get to that wall? You see the melody wall above me? I need to get to that eventually and use Relic Song on it. Relic Song is like the last thing you unlock in this game as far as mobility goes. But yeah, I need to get to that eventually. It's so cool that you're still unlocking mobility options after post game. Like, you get the Pika pad, you get what's it called? Rock Climb, which you just got in this episode. You get the Magma Suit, you get Waterfall, and after everything else, you finally get Relic Song. So post game's very, very deep. Over here, you get the Griseous Orb. If you want to use Giratina O, then up here, you Jet Stream. I don't remember if I picked up Adamant Orb on the stream. I think I did, though. I probably just fast forwarded through it while I was yapping. So the quickest way up is just to hang to the left here and just look for the way all the way up. And then, yeah, you'll eventually reach these pillars. And that's our entrance to the Alpha Ruins. And since I feel like I'm probably going to get into a battle, entering some ruins, I swap over to Meganium. And then the Alpha Ruins are basically a big nothing burger. They just have one very confusing puzzle. You can see I'm just checking every rock. I'm not getting anything. There's a rare candy in here, but it's out in the open. And that's the actual way forward. However, it has the most ridiculous puzzle. And it's just like, I don't know how they expect you to get this puzzle. My guess here was fire. But obviously I'm wrong. And yeah, if you guys want to take a second and pause your stream in order to not get spoiled, go ahead and do that. But I'm promising you, this puzzle's not this puzzle's not, you know, logical enough to actually solve it. Just go ahead and look up the answer, and you don't even have to, because I'm just going to type it in on your screen. Like, yeah, that doesn't make no sense. So the answer is, pause. The answer is birth. Not Bertie, birth. Alright, so you can go look through the other rooms, but there's nothing there. Literally, that's all you're here to do. Now you can come back later on, after a certain point, and there will be a move tutor here who could teach you some really strong moves. But for the most part, that's all there is to do here in these ruins. Alright, so here's our 5th battle against Taen. I actually clocked the number of battles we have against this guy, and there are 6 individual battles with Taen, which is ridiculous. That's more than any other trainer in the game besides possibly Damien, who can also have 6 if you choose him as your 3rd rival battle. Or actually, I guess it's your 5th. Actually, no, it would be your 6th. Yeah, it would be your 6th rival battle. But then that will reduce Nora to 4 instead of 5. So, of the people you battle multiple times in the game, you battle Nora 5 times, 4 or 5 times. You battle Damien 5 or 6 times. And you battle Taen 6 times always. Which is ridiculous. Anyway, we're just setting up against him because he doesn't really have anything that could beat us. I do wish I set up one more Calm Mind. I didn't want to risk getting hit by another no guard dynamic punch. Because yeah, I would knock that out with one more Calm Mind. And pressure is destroying my PP. And it actually ends up managing to KO Mega Meganium. So that was great. Anyway, we send in Lunatone. This is your first time seeing Noctem. We're going to use Stealth Rock here. And then we're going to use Shadow Ball. Try to score KO. We're successful at it. Because we're on set, that made a lot of sense. Because we're on shift, that made a lot of sense. If we were on set, then keeping explosion will make more sense, because then we would get to keep our an extra turn of our darkness. So this is me getting lucky because I definitely should not have been spamming that against Glade. Then Zeb Striker, I found out the hard way, has a fairy type move. And yeah, because I tried to set up, I'm just going to not be able to accomplish anything. How many times have I tried to set up against a Pokemon just to find out, oh yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just attacked. Now we've got Delta Hydreigon. It should have 0 issues dealing with any Zeb Striker. We got Kirim coming out. So this is going to be Kirim Black. And I have to remember, okay, this is a Dragon Ice type, right? What do I actually have against this? I guess I could use Earth Power or Tri-Attack are both effective. My best actual option is going to be Tri-Attack though, right? Because it gets the stab. And it had the potential to paralyze, but it didn't work out for me. We send Lunatone back in. Not expecting it to accomplish much. So now Lilligant should be fast enough. I'm gonna try Fiery Dance here. We get it, and we get the proc. And then Darmanitan. I don't know what typing this guy has. I know it's a part ghost type. I don't know if it's ghost in normal or ghost in dark or what. But either way, we've got darkness boosted surf at +1. Yeah, it's going down. So the thing about Delta Lilligant is you could use Scald on it, but Scald doesn't get the boost from darkness, so that's why we're using surf. It's like, yeah, 80 base power with the chance to burn versus 135 base power. Like, yeah, I'll just take the much higher damage. Like, don't got to worry about burning something if it's in a casket, right? If it's already down, you don't have to worry about it. So after beating him there, the next Pokemon Center you go heal at is going to have this TV come on, and it's going to give you a message talking about you need to go to your Gaea Town and go to the library. That's why we just flew straight here. Yeah, they're still looking for the name of the original dragon. I am still kind of upset that you don't actually get to fight, or even, yeah, at least fight the original dragon in this game. Even if you don't get to catch it yourself, it'd be nice to fight it. But yep, we're going to the library, far west wing. You see, this place is all messed up. And then it kind of just clicks on him. Oh. Yeah, they want his name. Yeah, that's what Taen is up to. And so go north to where he's been before. So, like Deja Vu, we go back to the Dragon Ruins and we confront Taen there. Which you cannot fly here for some reason. By the way, that Tesseract spot, I believe that's Delta Bergmites. So it's kind of hard to tell because it's nighttime, but she has him and his Mewtwo surrounded by Zygarde cells. She's been using these for surveillance all over the region because people don't deserve privacy, I guess. But I guess it makes it useful to track people down, I guess. Especially if they're evil. Now, unfortunately for Taen's final fight, we are going to be in a double battle with somebody we don't like. It's not our own double battle. Like, this would be easier if I only had my 6 Pokemon. Like, genuinely easier if I only had my 6 Pokemon. But because Gail's helping us out, this is actually significantly harder because she does dumb stuff. And her team is actually, like, ridiculously weak compared to Taen's. Remember when I told you that her having a weak team is going to end up biting us? Yeah, this is where it bites us. So he's going to send out Metagross. I believe this is a rock grass type Metagross, which is actually pretty decent typing. Shout out Cradily. And when it Mega Evolves, this time it's going to become a Crystal Grass type. Crystal type doesn't have any weaknesses or resistances, so it's basically a Grass type, which makes it significantly weaker actually than just being in its regular form. You can tell Sunflora one-shots it. However, I have a problem that I'm not paying attention to. That Talonflame has Tailwind, and Tailwind is actually ridiculously bad. It doesn't get bounced off by Magic Bounce on Meganium, and I'm not putting this Talonflame away, which I should be, because if I had put it away, then I probably wouldn't have lost this battle, honestly. And then she's going to send out Zygarde at 10% because, yeah, that's exactly what we need in this scenario. This specific scenario, this is definitely going to work. Yep, it gets one shot by doing two. Yeah, and now you see it sets up Tailwind, and this is the exact moment I lose because she no longer has any Pokemon left. I have 5 left. But they're all going to get double teamed by up to 2 legendaries. So I'm going to try to set Stealth Rock. I'm going to get hit by Focus Blast. And Will-O-Wisp, I actually do manage to set Stealth Rock. Go me. But yeah, no, there's no shot. I just can't do anything at this point in time. The other thing I could maybe have done is had a Focus Sash on. That could help me survive a one-shot. Well, ultimately, if I'm not faster than any of his Pokemon, I'm going to get hit by both, and therefore Focus Sash is not useful unless I knock out this Talonflame, which I let set up Tailwind for a 3rd time in this fight, because why wouldn't I? We're going to try. We're like, okay, this Talonflame needs to go down. Send out Lilligant. We're going to try to surf it. Oh, never mind. It knocked itself out. But the damage is already done, right? I don't have any more Pokemon with Shadow Dance on him. He has a freaking he has 2 pseudo legendaries. And they both outspeed with Tailwind. So Vespiquen was actually a designated sacrifice. But 1 Delta Hydreigon is not going to beat 2. Like 1 pseudo legendary versus 2, getting double team is not going to work. I doubt I could be able to beat Goodra, honestly. 1-1, 1-on-1. And yeah, that's our last Pokemon, so we're out. Alright, so if I don't play this, like, if I play this with some common sense, I could probably win this, right? Like, I didn't have to lose that battle. Just take out the Talonflame. It'll probably be alright. This time we're going to bring in our Gardevoir that is adamant because there is a forced battle afterwards where we need to capture something. So it actually weakens our team a little bit because we're using an adamant Gardevoir. Has Synchronize. But we're going to lead off with it actually because we're going to use it. The goal is to use it to knock out Arcanine, but also I have to be aware that I'm going to want to knock out Talonflame as well. So there was no shot of me knocking out Talonflame on turn 1 before it got Tailwind up, so I didn't really worry about that too much, but I am going to knock it out now. Or at least try. Like, you can tell I'm very serious about knocking out this Talonflame. I do not want this Talonflame to come back. I just barely survived that extreme speed. But yes, Talonflame is down. We're happy. This Metagross does have a priority move, so yeah. But it doesn't use it, so we're happy. Go ahead and hit it with another Moonblast. She's going to send out her Sunflora. I'm expecting to get hit by that priority move, by the way. Yep, there it goes. She gets very lucky and lands a poison hit there. I tried to set up here. I'm not sure if I should have. No. Yeah, I get critted. So, yeah. Guess he's in range for another what you call it. Yeah, another Crystal Rush. So, that's unfortunate. But that was just really bad luck. I did get a little bit lucky earlier, but I think getting critted outranks the whole poison thing. Even if the poison does ultimately end up knocking out Hydra for us. Yep, we have a 4-way knockout right there. We send the Vesper Queen as our designated sacrifice. But it is useful because we get to land Dazzling Gleam, which does a ton of damage to Hydreigon. Now from here, we're on our own again. And I'm not going to lie. I should have used Focus Sash here. Because if Mewtwo had picked Focus Blast, I would have fainted. But it doesn't, so I don't. And now we're slower than Hydreigon. We're hoping we're faster than this Arcanine. But it doesn't matter because Arcanine chooses Swords Dance. And now it's just one-on-one. Hydreigon does knock us out, but we have our own Hydreigon, and we know it's going to be faster. So we go ahead and use Tri-Attack, and that's the battle. Finally, our final battle with Taen. We don't have to fight this guy anymore. You know how Taen's like the most annoying character in this game. I'm like, why do I fight this guy so often? Like, why do I have run into this guy so often? He's really annoying. But anyway, he's going to try to summon, or actually, no, this is Zygarde. So Gail's going to summon her Zygarde at 50%. There, you see it? And then he's going to summon Kyurem, the complete version, but it's going to get blocked by Big Boss Zygarde. So this is Zygarde Complete. And it's protecting the ecosystem from the natural catastrophe that would occur if the original dragon was spawned. It's also going to, I guess, kill Mewtwo. And then it's going to semi-kill Zekrom. And then Orion's going to beg us to keep Reshiram safe. So this is where we make sure we're leading with our Adamant Gardevoir, because we want an Adamant Zygarde. So we have to catch this Zygarde Complete and or defeat it, but we want to catch it because we're completionists. We're going to go ahead and hit it with a move that is completely ineffective. And then hopefully I learn from my mistakes and use Hypnosis here. I mean, it misses, but we get delayed eventually. And now we're going to go for Ancient Ball. Doesn't quite work the first try. I don't put it back to sleep. I just go for it again, and then it works. So, lucky us. And now we've caught a Zygarde. So, we don't get the really cool Zygarde, though. We get the, like, regular Degler Zygarde. Like, in order to get complete Zygarde, we have to go collect 45 cells and 5 cores. It's all over the world. So, it's a big old backtracking game. But it is what it is. It gives you more time to play around. Anyway, we're not going to end up using it anyway because I don't care. So those two stones that you see, that black stone, that white stone, you pick those up in order to get Reshiram and Zekrom. I'm just telling you that because I don't do it here. But yeah, those two stones they literally just give you the Pokemon. Make sure you have an empty party or at least 2 empty slots in your party before you do that though. Because if you don't, then you don't know what nature you got and you cannot control that nature with Gardevoir. It doesn't work like that. Now, you talk to Gail here, and she is the one that gives you the Zygarde Cube. I guess this was a game upgrade that was waiting for a year. I think she was poking fun at that. But now we have that, we'll be able to pick up Zygarde parts as we go around. So that's cool. And yeah, she's just going to explain the entire system to us. If you want to pause and read through it, you can, but it's a lot. I don't know where to transform it from Zygarde 10 to 15%. I'll find out later. But that'll be the end of this video. As always, if you liked it, like, subscribe, and yeah, that'll be it. Squirrel out.